If you'll agree to tithe your income for 90 days and don't receive a blessing from God, you'll get your money back guaranteed.
This sort of spiritual mumbo-jumbo is, as Carl nicely sums it up, bonkers. Those who propose these gimmicks are treating God as a pagan deity and wrapping it all up in vaguely orthodox theology. We can't stand by and accept this prosperity gospel light. Keep listening to Mortification of Spin, Bully Pulpit, with Carl Truman, Todd Pruitt, and Amy Bird. We guarantee you'll receive a blessing or
your wasted time back.
So stay with us, and then after the podcast, keep listening to learn how you can download a free MP3 message.
So I am on the beach here with my co-hosts Carl and Todd, and it seems that we have stumbled upon a plaque. It's in remembrance of what Carl would call a controversy. Right, Carl?
Controversy. Controversy, that's correctly pronounced, yes, for a change.
Yes. It looks like you were a great blessing and example to the children on this beach. What is it that this plaque is referring to here?
Well, it's a particularly dark period in my life. Some weeks ago, I was a speaker at a conference at an unnamed location on the east coast of the United States. And late in the evening, one of my elders from church and myself and his brother-in-law headed down to the beach to smoke our pipes. I've only started smoking my pipe relatively recently due to the malignant and unwelcome influence of Todd Pruitt in my life. That's a quote from my wife, actually. But we lit up our pipes. It was late at night. There was nobody around. And I would say within 2 minutes, we were busted by some man who came striding up to us and said that he didn't want to judge us, but we'd got to extinguish our pipes straight away. The reason being, we later found out, 2 7-year-old girls who presumably had binoculars with heat-seeking night sights on them had been permanently traumatized by seeing us lighting up on the horizon. So we extinguished our pipes and we had to do the walk of shame back through the crowds of people hanging their heads and tutting, and we were shunned at breakfast the next day. These were 2 7-year-old covenant children. I'm horrified at the lack of respect that such children have for ordained office bearers in the church these days.
I believe they had a message for you too, didn't they?
Yes, one of them came up and in a kind of sing-song chanty voice offered the advice that smoking is bad. I think that's a fairly accurate rendition. I blame broad-based evangelical parachurch organizations for this. It simply represents an undermining of respect for biblical office. What more can one say?
Exactly. And can you imagine if they'd caught you eating non-free-range chicken?
Oh,
that would have been far worse.
Oh, yes. Or drinking Coke from a 25-ounce cup. I mean, it could be all kinds of outrageous.
Could have been worse.
It could have been a lot worse. So I suppose to encourage others not to head down the same path to destruction that my elder and I were going down, they put up this little plaque here, pour encourager les autres. Bit of sophisticated French in there for you. I can translate it for you too later if you wish.
Yeah.
I'm going to need that translation.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. That would be wonderful. Well, Carl, I'm sorry that was such an awkward experience for you, but I have, seems that we've uncovered a surefire way to make up for all of our shortcomings, for anything that perhaps has introduced negativity in our lives. We have a surefire way to find God's blessing in this life. In fact, it comes with a money-back guarantee, doesn't it?
Oh, this will be Ed Young's 90-day tithing challenge.
As Ed Young Jr., as I refer to him, the gift that keeps on giving. Yes. So it seems at Fellowship Church.
We should, of course, emphasize to our listeners at this point that Ed Young is not to be confused with our friend Steve Nichols. True, they're never seen in the same room at the same time, but they are actually entirely discrete people, even though it would appear that Ed Young has had a number of plastic surgeries that make him look uncannily similar to our friend, the perennial Peter Pan of Reformed theology down there in Florida.
Yes, we must be discerning here. We are not talking about Steve Nichols.
Yeah. Steve, I don't think Steve would would lower himself to something like the 90-day challenge. If you're
No,
wondering
no,
what the 90-day
he'd
challenge,
pay people to do that for him, I think, Tom.
that's right. That's right. Well, if you're wondering what the 90-day challenge is, over at Fellowship Church in Grapevine, Texas, it is a very, very large church. It's a Southern Baptist congregation. They keep that under wraps a little bit, but it is a Southern Baptist church. They're offering what they're calling the 90-day challenge, so that if you will agree to tithe your income for 90 days in a row, that if you are not blessed, quote, the website says, if and God does not hold true to his promise of blessings, we will refund 100% of your tithe. Hey.
Wow. And
I mean,
what is this promise of blessings that?
well, see, apparently, that's the question, Amy, because apparently, well, there's lots of questions, but apparently they're fairly vague on the exact nature of the blessings. But whatever it is, he's going to pour it out on you. And of course, they appeal to the passage from Malachi. But so money back guarantee, 90 days. You do this for 90 days. I don't know if that's because it takes God 90 days to kick stuff in, or not. I don't know what that is. But you will get your
His promise of blessings
money
will come within 90 days.
within 90 days. If it's not there, we're going to give your money back. So Carl, I mean, now in the PCA, we don't do that, Carl. In the OPC, perhaps you all do. Is that something Cornerstone is experimenting with or anything like that?
Oh yeah, Ed Young is a huge influence in the OPC. You can tell that by our dental work. It speaks volumes. Clearly there are multiple problems with this. First of all, there is the mechanistic idea that if you do something materially for the church, God will bless you materially. Secondly, there seems to be the rather reductionist view of what a blessing is. The strong hint is that it's going to be financial or material. Blessings are spiritual. Suffering can be a blessing in certain contexts, for example. And the third issue for me is, why aren't people tithing anywhere? I don't want to be legalistic and say everybody's got to give a tenth of their income, but I think sacrificial giving should be part and parcel of what it means to be a Christian. There shouldn't be a 90-day challenge to see if it works any more than, be faithful to your wife for 90 days and see if it improves your marriage. That would be a completely bonkers statement. And we all know that that's bonkers. Well, I see it as analogous to, tithe, be obedient in your sacrificial giving for 90 days and see if the Lord blesses you. We're to be obedient because obedience is what we are supposed to be. It's not because God gives us kickbacks as a result of it.
Well, is it really sacrificial giving if we expect a refund?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And, I'm stunned by the way that it takes a utilitarian approach to who God is. Again, as you said, Carl, it's almost like you put in these coins and God will give out the thing that you're most hoping for or expecting. It's a terrible idolatrous notion of what God is like. It treats God as a typical pagan would treat their pagan deity.
Yeah. And we all know who's growing high on the hog on this. It's Ed Young and Co.
Absolutely.
And, the usual suspects, Perry Noble, Mark Driscoll's friend, is up there puffing it. It's the prosperity guys. Now, they may have morphed somewhat from the 80s. Yeah. They use more orthodox theology now to smuggle their prosperity teaching in. But ultimately, these people are teaching a blasphemous gospel. I mean, it's no gospel at all. Right. And, joking aside, they are cravenly preying on some of the most vulnerable people in their churches and in society in order to live high on the hog. And, there will be a reward for them. It will not be a particularly pleasant one at the end of the time. No. But in the meantime, I think it behoves the rest of us to call these people out on it.
It is. I mean, as you say, it is preying on some very vulnerable people, because the type of people that this sort of nonsense appeals to, unfortunately, is oftentimes people who are desperate, in desperate conditions, financially or otherwise, and they're looking for anything they can hold on to give them some hope. And so when a big-time preacher with great teeth comes along and says, the Bible says if you tithe, you're going to get blessed, we're going to give you a 90-day challenge or your money back, so often it's the very people who are in dire straits that risk all of this. Meanwhile, Ed Young has $1 million condo in Miami, and it's utterly disgusting.
Yeah.
The
The 18th century British wit, Dr. Samuel Johnson, described lotteries as a tax on the gullible. We might describe the sort of the Ed Young, Perry Noble kind of stuff as a tithe on the gullible. I think they're preying on stupid people who don't know any better.
Right.
But to pick on people like that in this sort of way, to exploit them, is crass and is wicked.
Yeah.
That leads me to ask the question too. I mean, is it bad to look for a reward from God? I mean, like, because he's there's a little bit of truth sprinkled in with what he's saying.
Right. And as Carl mentioned earlier, this is prosperity gospel, but it's prosperity gospel light. It's not as crass as, say, Creflo Dollar or some of the just verifiable nutcases that are out there. It's a little more wily. They slip it in, encased in some things that are true. Does God bless his people? Oh, absolutely. But God chooses to bless me sometimes through really difficult stuff that he takes away from me. He blesses me in ways I through means that I would never choose myself.
And even if you look in like 2 Corinthians 9, the reward there promises in one way is that we'll be able to give more.
Yep.
It's not like, a new car or a better house or, fashion preacher clothes, but, that we'd be able to give more.
Yeah. And I don't think it's wrong to think in a proverbial way that God will, that God loves generosity. God is a generous God. He calls his people to be generous. And I don't think any of us would deny that there is blessing in being generous. It's this crass, you do this for 90 days and God will give you something or we'll give you your money back. It's this, this quid pro quo utilitarian approach to God that is just profoundly unbiblical.
We should remember that gracious generosity is one of God's attributes. He looks after the widow. He looks after the sojourner. He looks after the fatherless. These are very concrete descriptions to us of God's generosity. And I think we're to reflect that as Christians. Those who have money, it is to be a delight to those who have money and more resources to be able to share them with those who don't. Not as a kind of welfare state supporting the crass and the corrupt, if you like, but as a way of reflecting God's character, using the blessings God has given us to bless other people with.
And again, I'm a pastor. I call my church to exercise financial generosity precisely because God calls us to that. It's a reflection of who he is, and it's a means whereby he provides for his church and those beyond his church through the generous giving of his people. And it's it's also a prescribed part of our public worship. We are to bring tithes and offerings. So it's all there. It's there for our good and for God's glory. And so whether or not I get something I quote unquote I want out of it is beside the point. The blessing is to be involved in doing something that honors God and that he uses to provide for his people. That's a blessing.
Yeah, I mean, I just think of, as our gratitude for God for how he has given abundantly to us in Christ. And he is our complete sacrifice there, offering, and just remembering that we are the poor. Yeah, he's given to us. Yeah. I also think that this 90-day challenge, we can sit here and talk about these pastors, but it's also a call to us as congregants to be discerning. You don't give without discernment. That we have to be discerning. What churches are we in? Are we giving to something that's promoting bad doctrine, or worse, corrupting our children with like pipe smoking pastors?
Exactly.
Well, maybe on that
Amy,
note, maybe we should bring things.
No, well, I was going to say Amy makes a very good point because clearly, I mean, other than the bad influence of Carl Truman, but I would also, I mean, all seriousness, if you're in a church that does things like a 90-day challenge and says if you give money, God's going to bless you, and if you can't measure it, we'll give you your money back, get out of that church. Just flee, get out of that church. It's not good for you spiritually. Get out of that church. I would also add this, that it was not my idea, nor was it Amy's idea to bring Steve Nichols into this whole conversation. This was Carl Truman entirely. And I would also add that if you're John Payne, you need to be grateful that it was Steve Nichols and not you on this one.
True.
So with those disclaimers, again, if it's something bad, it will typically be Carl Truman's fault. With those disclaimers, for Carl and for Amy, I'm Todd Pruitt. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll look forward to talking to you next time.
This has been Mortification of Spin, a podcast of the Alliance of Confessing Evangelicals. Visit our website, mortificationofspin.org, where you can download a free MP3 message entitled Robbers of God. Mortification of Spin is a production of the Alliance of Confessing Evangelicals. Alliance ministries include Reformation21.org, the Bible Study Hour, and events held from Florida to Sacramento. To learn more about the Alliance, visit alliancenet.org or call 800-488-1888. We can only continue to bring you Mortification of Spin with your support. To make a donation, please visit mortificationofspin.org or call 800-488-1888. Please join the gang again next week. And don't forget your free MP3 message, Robbers of God.
Okay, great.
That work?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Oh, Struth.
I gave computer advice, guys.
You just perforated my eardrum.
Wow, Michael, you must be so proud of me.
How do I turn you women's voices down?
That's the age-old question, Carl.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. Men have been asking that question for generations.
Yeah. Good grief. I can't put my headphones on because it'll burst my eardrums at the moment. Yeah. Now, Amy, is there any way I can cut you out completely but keep Todd? Is that a possibility?
Just that last phrase, you seem to be at a acceptable volume now. I want to use that in a conversation somehow.
Well, this should be recorded for our end time funny.